All right, everybody, we have a Hardcore Fitness member named Shav right here. He absolutely crushed it with Hardcore Fitness, and he's still crushing it in unbelievable shape, as you guys can tell. But with that said, Shav, introduce yourself. What do you do? And tell us a little bit about you.
Hey guys, shot for the interview. Thanks, Jack. Dude, I'm a e-commerce business coach. I coach e-commerce, and I have a bunch of e-commerce stores. We sell a lot to the US, Canada, and a lot to UK as well. That's what I do. I work online from my laptop, and we run stores online. Long story short.
Absolutely. Crushing it with business, and now he's crushing it with physique. It's like aligning both of those things has probably made a big difference in your life, I'm assuming. But I want to kind of backtrack a little bit here and ask you about, where were you at with your mentality and your physique prior to joining Hardcore, and what made you initially, let's say, reach out?
Good question. This is a big one, and I'm happy to do this interview simply because the program's so fantastic. It's helped me a ton, and I think if I can share my word here and it can inspire someone else to help them get what I've got, it'll really help them change their lives. Because when I started, I always thought I tried to eat clean. I've always been in the gym every day, 6 days a week, forever. For like 10 years now, I've been doing that. But getting into shape has been like a myth. It's either the man is born with a six-pack or he's not, And I tried to eat clean. I tried to do things. I would think in my mind this is how my mentality was, how I was thinking. There's a magic secret to being shredded. There's a secret. Maybe you don't have honey before you train. You can't train on an empty stomach. You have to eat this food before you train. And I was just chasing something that never existed. And years after years after years. And then recently I became a dad as well. So I'm a dad, I have a young daughter. It made it a bit more challenging. But I've been tracing this elusive thing of being shredded. So that's where my mindset was before I started.
Absolutely. And what made you initially find me and find Hardcore Fitness and say, this is going to be the change? And build that initial trust, we'll say.
Okay. Well, Jack, to put it transparently, what I would say it is that, dude, just like everyone's scrolling Instagram, 99% of the fitness coaches out there are using steroids. 99%. They're using drugs, they're using steroids, they all are there. And I don't want to do that shit. I just don't want to. Anyone can get lean using drugs. I don't care about that. I want an honest, healthy lifestyle that I can stick to, and it's a lifestyle. And when I saw Jack's physique, it's natural. The guy is not like this massive bodybuilder with no hair and shit. He's a young guy. He's in shape. He's healthy. He's lean, and he has the lifestyle. So when I saw that and I saw his physique and I saw some YouTube videos of how he trains, I said, let me send the man a message. That was it.
Absolutely. And you know how I always asked you on that first call,
Natural.
man, I said, what's the biggest why as to why you were doing this, And on that first call, that's what I ask everybody, because that's what allows you to show up and get 1% better every single day. Remembering that the bigger picture, your why, is why you are doing this, why you're getting into shape. And if we don't have that, a lot of the time, that's why people stay complacent. So what was that why that you told me on that first call? Or what's the why that you're now doing this for?
Oh, the why I wanted to do it was simply on the call. I still remember that question you asked me. I told you that, come like, Jack, maybe I don't want to do it. And then you asked me straight, oh, so you're happy to be fat for the next 6 more months? And that hit me like in my heart. I'm like, no, I'm not. That was it.
Yeah.
So I was about to leave the call without joining the program. Like I said, no, Jack, I'll call you back tomorrow. That kind of stupid stuff. He told me, well then, Siobhan, you're a good business guy. You're doing well in life. You're doing things, but you're happy to be fat for another 6 months, another year. You're happy to live like that, not where you want to be. And that was it. That pulled the trigger for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hell no, I'm not going to give up 6 more months of my life like this. No.
It's true. And I always ask them, like, in the next 6 to 12 months, if you deeply reflect and you look at your past already, where do you honestly see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? And a lot of the time, when I ask that, people self-reflect and are like, I'm going to be in the same exact spot. And who wants to be in the same exact spot when there's so much more potential for you, That's the most motivating factor right now. But what are the steps that you realize that you had to take in order to get to that version of yourself?
That's why that's what I knew. I didn't have those steps. So that's why I believe deeply in mentorship, like someone that obviously you know something I don't know, and if I can stick to the instructions, I'm going to get the result. Simple.
Absolutely. Exactly how it worked. Exactly. So with that said, talking more about hardcore fitness and everything that's inside of it, what do you think the main key factors to what built so much success with this in the amount of time that you got shredded or in the best shape of your life, what helped the most inside of hardcore?
Well, what helped the most was the accountability, because when I started getting used to my shitty, wing it, like, as the day goes, eat and try to be clean diet that never worked. Going from that to going into a routine, that was hard. I remember the first 2 weeks I was complaining to you. I was like, Jack, listen, Jack, my head hurts. I've got to stick to a diet. I don't have time for this. But then when you see the other, I hated it in the beginning. I'm like, dude, this is hard. But then when you see the other guys in the community doing it, posting their meals, and they're doing it, and they have these good physiques, you do it as well. But if you're by yourself and you're trying to do it with you and your wife and child, you ain't gonna do shit. But when you see others doing it, it becomes normal.
Absolutely, man. The accountability system that we have inside of Hardcore Fitness, and also just the group of individuals that we have, I would say is 70% of all of this. Just because you see the guy next to you doing it, why can't you? This guy's just as busy as you. He's the same exact age. I always tell everybody, like, why not you? And I always enforce so much communication in the group chat and make it based around sustainability, because sustainability is what allows us to be a lifetime transformation, lifetime friendship. If it's just a generic community where everybody's just giving thumbs up and stuff like that, it's not worth it. But what it is calling people out for not having any points on the monthly challenges, not communicating and stuff like that, Things that are going to genuinely change lives are things that are sustainable,
And
so
Jack,
with everything that you have, would you say it was sustainable for you?
eventually, well, what I was saying, like, the hardcore fitness guys inside will know that on Friday you'll get called out to do 20 push-ups. Where's the push-ups? You get those messages. Your wife ain't gonna ask you that. Your best friend that you're drinking with at the bar is not gonna ask you that. But in the group, someone will call you out, and it's a wake-up call. So it's good.
And now that I'm thinking about it, you haven't got your 20 push-ups in today. It's Friday.
Hey, I'll send it in the group after the message.
Yeah.
I'll make it 40.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I'm saying.
Cool.
The extra work, man, the extra work. But I did want to ask this as well, because although you got the physique that you want, you look in the mirror, you're proud of it. What else has that kind of translated into your life? What else has health, like getting into the best shape of your life, how has it impacted other areas of our life, let's say?
A big one is that it made me realize that everything worth having has a certain price. And like being lean, shredded, there's a certain lifestyle you got to have. It doesn't, you can't be eating like a loser, training like a loser, and living life like a loser and still be in a great shape. There's a certain life you have to live, and that's what I got from this mentorship and program. So I realized that, hey, to have this type of physique, you got to do certain things. And then it translated into business and life, that if you want this result in your business and if you want this result in your family, there's certain things you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
So that was a big one for me.
Yeah. And kind of going back to before, like, what do you think you were having the hardest time with when it came to getting into shape and stuff like that? What did you not have that hardcore had? What's the biggest thing that's genuinely completely changed your outlook on health and fitness and stuff like that?
Two things. Number one would be is the accountability. I didn't have the accountability. Then I got it from the program, and that helped a ton. The second thing I would say is knowing what the steps are to become shredded and lean, and making it part of a lifestyle. I know this sounds like, dude, this guy's fucking just saying these things. No, guys, I promise you, I've been doing this for years, trying to get in shape. And in the last 3 months, we've progressed very fast. And I realized that it's a lifestyle and there's certain things that need to be done. And knowing what those steps were, that was it.
Yeah.
And I can keep doing it.
I think, like, at the end of the day, it's like, I remember most people will say, like, I can do it myself. I can do it myself. I have the accountability. Like, what would you say to those people, but they're not in the best shape of their life? What would you say to somebody like that?
Well, you can do it yourself. You can do it. Pick your shirt up. Where's your six pack, bruv? You can do it yourself. Then why don't you have it? Why don't you have it? No, I'll get it in 3 months. Why didn't you do it 3 months ago?
It's
That's
huge,
what I
man.
would say.
And I always like to say it, man, like the hardest thing to do as a man is to admit that you need the help, you know? And a lot of the time, it's until we bring our ego back to surface level and say, all right, let's take a step back so that we can have a big step forward. And I always tell people, I'm like, it's not weird to have a mentor. It's not weird to have a coach. The reason I'm in the position I am today is because I had a mentor, you know? Tom Brady had a mentor. C-Bomb, 6-time Mr. Olympia had a mentor. So why do you think you don't sometimes, you know? And a lot of time is bringing that ego down, thinking that you can do this yourself. It's like, at the end of the day, are you going to maximize your potential by trying to do it yourself? And where do you honestly see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months?
That makes sense. And just like I tell guys, like even having this call now with Jack, I know tomorrow I'm not going to go fucking eat donuts. I know because I just chatted with my mentor right now. I have to stay in line tomorrow, this weekend, coming tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. That's when the accountability is the highest in hardcore fitness, is over the weekends. Because that's where people slack in the weekends. You give up then and you reset.
Absolutely. It's not 5 days a week, guys. It's 7 days a week. And
Life.
7 days a week for a lifelong change. But Shav, with the last part of this, man, I want to ask you, for somebody that's on the fence about joining hardcore fitness or just trying to prioritize their health for once, you know, what would you say to this person?
I would say to you, dude, from my side, I've invested a lot in business mentorship, like multiple business mentorships. I spent a lot of good money there, and I've gotten great results from my business mentorships I've invested in. Health is super important, because if you can get your health in check, it's one less thing to worry about. It'll help your business, it'll help your relationship, it'll help everything. And the reason, if you think you can do it yourself, you should already have the result. There's a reason you don't have the result. So just like me, if I could speak to the me that wasn't in this program, I tell him, dude, just shut up, don't even do the call with Jack, just get the invoice, start the program, and follow everything.
I love it, dude. I love it.
That's my line.
And that's great. One less thing to have to worry about is something that I say a lot, you know? Why put all your time and stress into other things and not into yourself, you know? Yeah. It's like you will put yourself in a worse position if you don't take care of your health, if you don't focus on you, you know? Because all this other work in your life becomes that much harder. And then you look at yourself in the mirror that night and you're like, damn, I let myself go. Rather than looking at yourself in the mirror saying, I'm already in the best shape of my life. I took care of this first. Now I'm ready to tackle the other problems that I have. And that might be business, you know, that might be relationships, whatever it might be, but make it one less thing to have to worry about. Shav, appreciate you taking the time to take this call today. If there's any last things that you want to say, go for it right now. But other than that, man, like I said, I'm super happy that you changed your life within hardcore fitness. I'm glad that I got to be a part of the process, and I'm looking forward to what the future has for you as well.
Super. Jack, I think my message was clear to anybody that's listening to this. It's important. That's all I'll tell you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alrighty. And if you want to book in a call with me and my team, I'll put the Calendly link, the call link in the description down below, and you guys can book in a call with my team or me. And from there, you can get the process started. But I look forward to talking to you guys. And Shav, again, thank you. And other than that, no generational wealth without generational health. That'll always be my saying.